Hey everybody, we're back for episode 2 of our Dino adventure. Things are about to get a lot more intense. Wicked and I are making the dangerous migration to South Plains, and the journey is anything but safe. From unexpected threats to close encounters, this stretch really puts our survival skills to the test. Let's dive in and see if we can make it. So, after swimming around and clearing the lake, making sure it's safe, I start sniffing for food and I notice there's a ton of diet over in this direction. So we swim over to see what is going on. So it would appear this big group of Tennos have just gone through and just killed everything that they can find. So I notice one of the Tennos separating from the rest of the group, so I decide to follow him around and see if I can't get myself a night's meal. Unfortunately, I accidentally dragged myself along the bottom and killed all the momentum I had and gave the Tenno plenty of time to run away. I know I'm not going to be able to catch the Tenno here, but I'm not going to sit here and let him get a free drink either. So the Tenno is set up here in this one spot of the lake where there's a pretty long, shallow shelf, and they are fully aware that we pretty much have no chance of getting to them before they can react to it. So even though there are quite a few Tenno here, they're really not much of a threat to us. And looking back on it now, I probably wish we would have just stuck out the fight a little more. We probably could have grabbed one or two with how aggressive they were being. But that's just kind of the way it is, so it's a lesson for next time. Eventually the Tenno are called away by another member of the group somewhere farther down the lake, and we can finally go grab some of these bodies that they've left up on the shore. And here we have Herrera just doing Herrera things. And here we have some small dino just offering himself up. Yeah, these Tenno must have just went on some kind of rampage, but we're not going to complain. I mean, it's free food for us, so. So I'm on my way to get some of the bodies that are a little farther inland, but along the way I decided it's not really worth the risk right now. So here we've just spotted a dibble walking down the ravine, and we're sitting here patiently waiting, hoping that maybe he'll stop and get a drink right here at the dam. Then Wicked tells me that he's got a stego with him, because of course he does. So here we have them getting in the standard formation of the stego blocking the water for whoever's drinking behind him. It's not really a very effective strategy. It's pretty easy for us to just go right around them. But in this situation, we're getting ready to travel to South Plains. We really don't want to be taking any damage from the stego right before we head off. And just like I just told Wicked here in chat, having a stego hanging around the area is not ideal for our travel down to South Plains. So after discussing it, we decided we're just going to risk it and head on down to South Plains anyway. We're both kind of tired of being here at Highland Lake. So just like last time, I decided to leave this walk in the video just for somebody who might not know how to get there, but this will probably be the last time I put it in the video. So this is a long walk and stamina management is key. You're going to want to run until your stamina is about halfway down the middle toe, because as soon as you stop running, your stamina meter is still going to tick down like one more little jump. And you don't want it to go below the bottom two toes, because then it won't regen as you're walking. And on this walk, you will run out of water unless you have reabsorption and it's raining. But you should be able to make it without much problem. Just don't panic when you go into the red, just keep going, and you should be fine. So one more tip here is you can slide down this hill without taking any damage. It's good to know for that, just that last step to get you there just a second quicker. So I'm asking Wicked how he managed to fall behind, and he says he ran into a tree and then he alt-tabbed. So that just shows that the walk doesn't have to be flawless. So this next part of the walk is pretty easy. It's short, you're not going to run out of water, and it's not a super popular spot, especially the trail that we break off into. So you're probably not going to run into anything else that might cause you problems. I mean, if you're super unlucky, you might catch a dino coming back up from South Plains, but that's rare. So we finally made it down the South Plains River. It's getting late, so we decide that we're just going to log off here for the night. So we come back the next day, and I take a quick jump into the river just to make sure there's no other dinos just hanging out. So here we show you the struggle of getting into a group as dinos. Sometimes it works in the water, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes you gotta be on land. It's just super finicky sometimes. So we make it to the waterfall here, and since this is Wicked's first time in the South Plains, I explained to him that this waterfall here and the stretch of water below us seem to be the most popular areas for players to gather. So at this point, we're both pretty hungry. We're not desperate for food, but it won't be long before we get to that point. So we decide to walk down to the slower stretch of river and see if we can't find anything to eat there. And as we're walking down to the lower river, I happen to smell some diet off to my right, so I decide to go over and check it out. So here I hear Wicked sprinting behind me, and I tell him to save his stamina because we might need to make a break for the water. And at the time, I did not realize just how right I was going to be. So I didn't think anything of it at the time, but it's clear now that the pterodon flying around is scouting this area out and reporting back to the people that they're playing with. Oh my god, this is bad. We've got a steg on our ass, and we are nowhere near the water. At this point, there's no shot that Wicked makes it back to the water without some help, so I try to get over there and maybe to be able to take some of the heat off of him so that we can get back to the water. At this point, we're both out of stamina and things are looking bleak. So unfortunately, with me being out of stamina here, there's nothing I can do to catch up to Wicked, and the stego gets him in the bush just before he can get back to the water. So I managed to get back to the safety of the water. Unfortunately, Wicked wasn't as lucky. Looking back on it now, we probably should have just stood our ground and fought the stego. We probably could have killed it without too much trouble with the both of us. But at the time, I wasn't thinking, and we were just trying to get back to the water as fast as we could. And then, to my surprise, unlike 99% of stegos, they did not sit around and camp the buddy. Remember this pterodon for later. Oh yeah, that felt good. That was satisfying. Okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Our journey to the Southern Plains was anything but easy, and sadly, Wicked didn't make it. But this isn't the end. Wicked has been reborn deep in the swamps of the Isle. And in the next episode, I'll be heading out to reunite with my fallen brother. The waters are still dangerous, and the story's far from over, so stay tuned.